Meet Chef Shourne Benjamin, whose culinary skills were ignited in his grandma's kitchen in St. Lucia. From Wall Street to the Food Network to being an international chef and opening his restaurant Fat Fowl, this is his story.
Welcome to Business Matters, a presentation of the Chamber Coalition, which comprises the New American Chamber of Commerce, the African American International Chamber of Commerce, and the Hispanic American International Chamber of Commerce. To become a chamber member, be a guest, or register for our events, go to www.nacc.nyc. That's www.nacc.nyc, or call us at 718-722-9217. That's 718-722-9217.
Welcome everyone. We are joined by a very special guest, Chef Shourne Benjamin, who is a visionary in the kitchen and a fierce competitor. Chef Shourne has appeared on TV as a guest chef on NBC's Six in the Mix and WGN TV's Chicago Midday Fix cooking segments. He has also participated in the Jamaican Joke Festival Celebrity Chef Throwdown, which he won, and he is an acclaimed chef from London to the British Virgin Islands to Toronto to New York, and we are so glad to have you here with us. Welcome, sir.
Wow, thank you. This is an honor to be here, and I realized I did so much.
you did quite a bit. I didn't even give the full, rundown on you. So tell us about your journey. How did you decide to get into, cooking to becoming a chef?
Well, I'm originally from the island of St. Lucia, and for me, just migrating to the U.S., something that was nostalgic to me was food. And when you go out to certain restaurants, you find that a lot of high-end restaurants are more geared to a French or Italian or something like I always looked at Caribbean cuisine as something that could be on that level. And when I look around, there wasn't much options to cater to that. And I just made a commitment to myself. I want to own a restaurant one day. And my background is actually from a finance background. And I always look at life. Sometimes life puts you in a crossroads where you have to make a choice whether to proceed or not to. And I also had some cold feet, pursue culinary, and because I was kind of in a comfort zone doing finance. And back when the whole financial crashes happened, I lost my job, and I just looked at it like, well, I have this point. I've reached to this point in my life, and maybe I should really pursue my passion, which is cooking. And I enrolled in the French Culinary Institute down in Soho, and that's where it all began to make an evolution of Caribbean cuisine. And I don't know what steps to take, but I prepared myself in the kitchen to take that step.
Okay, great. So I know that you have participated in Bobby Flay's Beat Bobby Flay on the Food Network. Tell us about that experience.
Well, for me, that was an amazing experience. That was just me giving exposure to my vision of what Caribbean cuisine is, and to at that time, Bobby Flay was like the man to beat and the man that indulged in giving exposure to identity of food. And I think I was equipped enough to be to that level to face him. And just me being pursuing it, it got to that point where I got to face Bobby Flay, and it was an amazing experience. And the whole fact of the show was I was being true to myself. And it just brought me to the roots, what my grandmother taught me, but I just uplifted and just made it more refined.
Okay. So you own your own restaurant?
Yes, I own my own restaurant. First venture so far. It's called Fat Fowl.
How did you come up with that name? When everybody's looking to be skinny.
Fat Fowl, for me, it's I'm from the Caribbean, St. Lucia, and growing up with my grandmother, I mean, I've seen her where she go in the yard and there's fowls in the yard. And for me, I knew I wanted to do the rotisserie chicken concept, and I hate to be duplicated or be the same. I want to be original. And for me, grassroots that's how we call chickens in the Caribbean, fowl. Mm-hmm. And it's not really a fowl, it's actually organic chicken. So I just play on the word fowl. But for me, it just fit perfectly. But the name came on where I needed a name, and I knew I was going to do chicken. And I remember during the pandemic, I was cooking this Cornish hen, and it was bigger than usual. And I'm like, and when I cooked it, it was so juicy and plump. And I was trying to figure out ways to, I said, that's a fat fowl. So it just played on my tongue, and I said, this is it, fat fowl. And here we have it. And it's been an amazing journey with Fat Fowl. And for me, it was just not solely me doing it for myself, but it's for the community. Because I looked at the whole pandemic, where people options and eating habits was a factor in the whole exposure of how good living should be and how healthy eating should be.
Now, you mentioned that you like to do things original and authentic, and your Fat Fowl's organic chickens, they have a special, unusual flavor, right?
Yes. And that's where I put in my whole culinary attributes in terms of presentation and my focus and my identity. So I'm from a fine dining background, and for me, Fat Fowl is a fast casual takeout spot. But then I wanted to make something accessible where you could get fine dining experience in a takeout concept. So it's almost like a blur between, is it really a fine dining restaurant or a takeout? But I just said, you know what, I'm being true to myself. This is my first venture. Yes, I do like my full sit-down restaurant, but I'm going to give you quality. That was my mission to do, quality.
So that ingredient, I think you call your chicken lavender. You have lavender in it.
Yeah, lavender.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Lavender, in just my experience in cooking, lavender releases a citrus flavor. And I always figured citrus and chicken go well together, and poultry, I would say. And it just made sense to me where I could give some of the recipes. I'm not scared to give out my recipes, but the lavender is the essence.
That's your proprietary property there, you know.
Lavender brings a good flavor out of the chicken, and it has been working well, and people identify and they love it. Well,
because when I think of lavender, you know, we hear about it in the beauty atmosphere. You know, it releases stress, it calms you down. So I guess infusing it in the cooking, that was really genius.
Yeah, I've heard that where people say after they finish eat, they feel relaxed, and I think that's the state of mind you're supposed to have, where you're not feeling like sluggish, but you just feel, wow, this was a good meal. And just to say that in terms of Fat Fowl is like a chef-driven concept. It's an open kitchen where actually, lucky if I'm there and I personally cook for you right in front of you. You see how your meal is prepared. And for me, having that exchange is having somebody that has possibly connected with somebody emotionally for food. And it happened many times where somebody may have a bad day, and once they experience Fat Fowl for the first time, they're like, oh my God, you just made my day better. And
that happened with me with your rice. Because I don't eat meat, but I got your rice, and that happened with me with your rice. I'm confessing.
So for me, it's serving the community and healthy options. And I always say that even a vegan could come to Fat Fowl. Yeah, it's a rotisserie chicken concept, but there's a lot of vegan options. I highlight on that because for me, nutrition is important for the community. Just mentioned, as you said, the rice. So I offer a black rice, which is kind of like when somebody from Haiti will say, "What is this, black rice?" I play on that because the rice that I serve is actually a forbidden rice, which is actually rich in nutrients. It's like the second best rice in the world, and it's actually from a Japanese rice, and only the emperors at that time was able to eat that rice. So why they call it forbidden rice? If they caught you eating that rice, if you're not royalty, they'll kill you. And for me, I wanted the community to eat healthy. I want to break that stigma.
Wow. So let's go back to COVID-19, the pandemic, because obviously, you know, we know what happened in 2020 and all businesses were seriously affected. How were you able to deal with the pandemic and push through and, you know, continue to run your business, keep it open?
Wow. For me, the pandemic was like an inspiration to push and my determination to succeed. Prior to the pandemic, I was actually searching for a restaurant space for my own, and the pandemic happened, and I was like, all like I felt like my dream fell apart in front of me, like it couldn't happen, and I just went into a mode where I didn't want it to be depressed, so cooking actually made me happy, and me just cooking and using social media, posting food, where it was a connection with people, where in the past when it was an everyday life when everything was normal, my time was not accessible. Like I always be busy with work. Like I have a 9 to 5 doing a regular kitchen job, then I do a lot of private events, flying to different places. And then I was actually stationary for one time, and I just wanted to cook and show people how to eat in my vision. And that led to me doing pop-ups where people will message me, oh, I pay for that. That looks good, because everybody was home. I guess everybody was tired of cooking their own food, and here I am as a chef showing them high-end product. And it led to me doing pop-ups, and it's like, again, it's just like when I lost my job with finance. I was at a crossroad in my life. Then I had to reinvent myself through the pandemic. So I took the pandemic as buying time for me to creating me. And I think that I just pursued and pushed to succeed, where I didn't let it to defeat me. I didn't want to just rely on just an employment check, you know. That wasn't my settlement. I don't like to settle, you know.
Great. So I believe you were one of the first people to initiate the curbside pickup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, just me connecting with the community, and the support was overwhelming, and I still get chills and humbled by it, where people I haven't seen in years would come and support. People will drive from Connecticut, Jersey, just to support and just to tell me, you know what, keep going, Shourne. And that was meaningful to me.
So, Shourne, you've just spoken about how persons have, helped you to push forward and keep that inspiration, that, dream alive. What would be your words of advice to, up and coming chefs, persons who want to enter the culinary field?
For me, the advice, I look at myself where you have to find identity for yourself, and you groom it where you don't forget tradition. You just reinvent it, because sometimes I look at situations, you can't sell something how they did it 20 years ago. You have to be visionary, but still have the quality and keep that tradition. Just package it differently, and always be true to yourself, because something as simple as a pumpkin soup my grandma used to make for me, you just have that creativity where you refine it. And I made, just to pick it back to beat Bobby Flay, I brought that soup to Bobby Flay, and instead of doing a whole full pumpkin soup, I did a pumpkin wine sauce with scallops, with dumplings, and sweet peas in there.
Wow.
So you get the flavors of what a pumpkin soup would be, but then I just refined and made it a sauce-like.
So how can someone get some of that lavender organic Fat Fowl chicken and my favorite forbidden rice? How can they get that?
I'm located in DeKalb Market, downtown Brooklyn. It's in the City Point building. I think the best way to describe it is in the Target building and Trader Joe downtown. For me, it's a great start for me for my first project, and it gives me like almost like a flagship experience, because I experience different people part of the world, tourists, and even the community. And I always, as I like to say, I'm not doing Fat Fowl just for me, but it's for the community. Like I've seen people who have bad health issues, and when they start eating with my food for a month, they go back to the doctor and they're like, what are you doing? What has changed in your diet? And at least 5 people I know is telling me that it's because of your food. And I would say something that I'm proud to say with my food. It's clean. It's clean. When I say clean, I don't use butter in my food. there's sometimes you go places and you find that there's so much artificial flavors you taste, you don't get the real sense of the food. And something that I'm proud to offer is mushrooms. I do this jug tamarind mushrooms, and for me it's again picking back to Caribbean flavors. And I realize mushrooms is very nutrient for you. It provides a lot of high vitamin D, especially even the winter time where probably we don't get a lot of sun. And it's just me mastering the menu to offer across the board to reach everybody in a healthy aspect. Another thing I like is broccoli. I try to offer a lot of greens, broccoli. People find that broccoli is boring, but then I made this concept of charring the broccoli, and Fat Fowl is seasonal, and for the summer I offered apricot vinaigrette to put on top of it. So it's on flavor upon flavor. It's just, again, it's chef driven, and I welcome everybody. I feel proud of it. I thank God for giving me that vision and putting me to put to work.
All right. So I know also that you're a private chef. How can one contact you if they want to get in touch with you to get your services?
I'm easy to get in touch with, mostly social media, but people.
What's your handle?
It's Chef Shourne at Gmail. I spell my name differently. It's SHORNE.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm gonna say it SHORNE, Chef Shourne. I just feel blessed, and I guess for me, it's coming from the island of St. Lucia and showing what you could do in New York when you put your mind to it, or even anywhere you migrate. It's just the pursuit of determination.
All right. So thank you so much, Chef Shourne, and we look forward to having you back again and you telling us that you have franchised Fat Fowl, and it's going to be throughout New York City, in Atlanta, in Florida. We look forward to that, expansion. And congratulations. I'm going to try that jerk tamarind mushrooms with my forbidden rice. I'm going to have some of that.
That's actually great combo.
Yeah, that I can imagine it already. I'm going to try some of that. But thank you so much, and congratulations, and much, much success to you. Continued success.
Thank you. I manifest that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You are invited to the Chamber Coalition Small Business Sense Bootcamp. Join our 5-session webinar series where we provide education and business preparation for small business owners and startups. Learn the basics of business planning, how to finance your business alternatives and your credit as an asset, marketing and social media strategies, small business solutions, legal, tax, accounting, banking, and insurance, and how to do business with the government and corporations. Register at startupsbootcamp.eventbrite.com.